Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. So it's that time of week again. It's our usual Friday night live, and I'm still here. I'm still trying. I'm still going strong, I think, ish. I wanted to do my family garden and friends this week, but unfortunately, I'm having a bit of technical issues with StreamYard. I'm struggling to log into just log in at all, so I can't get a link to share to people. So apologies for that. So, but hopefully next week we'll bring a return to my family garden and friends. So if you're a small channel, if you're a large channel, if you're not a channel at all, and you just want to get up here and have a chat, you're more than welcome to join us next week. Hopefully by then I'll have fixed my my whatever issues that I've got, technical issues if you want to call it that, and I'll be able to get you guys up here and join me for a good old chinwag. So that's my problem with my technical issues. But next week we'll carry on, and we'll get a few more people up here. So you're not just looking at my ugly mug, and you're looking at some other different people as well. Let's see who's coming to join us. We've got 15 people, 3 likes. As you're coming in, if you don't mind hitting that like, that'll be good. Bodor, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah from Amsterdam. Awesome, thank you. What's the weather like over there at the moment? Because it's starting to get a little bit cold for my liking over here. Little Farmer's Farm. Did I get your email? I saw your email. I replied to it. I sent you a reply, so I don't know if you saw my reply. Yeah, I did get your email, mate, and I did reply to it as well. Yeah, so we're just streaming off the one platform as well today. So we're just streaming off YouTube. There's too many trolls on TikTok coming in, and yeah, we've left it on there. So today was sunny, 17 Celsius. Tomorrow will be cloudy and 15 degrees. See, it was a weird day today because it was really early afternoon, late morning. It was pouring down with rain, really heavy rain. And then later on in the afternoon, it sort of cleared up. And once it cleared up, it seemed to be a pleasant-ish day. I've been doing a fair bit of activities in the garden today, this afternoon mainly. A bit of log splitting, a bit of barrowing wood chips about. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to put a video up on Patreon in the next couple of days, and you'll be able to see an update of what I've been doing and what's going on in the garden at the moment. There's a fair few things that we've just been trying to catch up on, and my wood chip drought's finally ended. I'm having to put some money in my pocket to get the wood chips, and you know I'm a Yorkshireman. I don't like that sort of thing. you know, being from Yorkshire, I don't like that sort of thing when I have to put my hand in my pocket. But yeah, but we're finally getting some wood chips again, and hopefully we'll keep that going. So yeah, guys, as Tony from Little Farmer's Farm, the Guru says, hit that like please as you're coming in. That'll be good. Paul, yeah, I've finally got some wood chips. So it's taken me 3 years. Yeah, it's been a 3-year gap since I've last had a wood chip delivery. And we've finally got some wood chip now. I was actually looking at my house on Google Earth today, and it must be a really old picture. I think it's probably from when maybe when my car got written off, because my car's not out front, someone else's car's out front, and my blue compost sifter's out near the house. There's all my compost bags underneath a big sycamore tree at the bottom of the garden. And yeah, so I was just having a bit of a look. It must be about 3 or 4 years old, but you can see our garden clearly and everything that's going on. Once you zoom in on Google Earth, everything gets a little bit blurry, so it's not brilliant. Please send me another one, pal, if you can. Yeah, not a problem, Tony. I'll send you another one after this stream. I'll send you one. Graham's in. Let's see. I'm having spinach, garlic, lettuce, and the last tomatoes that are dropping are hard. Last few weeks, I bought a butane torch to help me get rid of weeds. What are you planning on doing? Burning your weeds? So Sheepy's allotment, how are you doing? Thank you very much for coming in. Hope you're keeping well. We Yorkshiremen, deep pockets, short arms. Exactly, man. That's what I'm saying. I'm gonna mash your name up, and and when I do, I'm gonna apologize in advance. Nomathemba. I hope I've said that right. Hope you're well, joining us from South Africa. Thank you very much for coming in. What time is it over there at the moment? So allotments fine and dandy. Got 3 videos to upload this weekend. Well, that'll keep you busy. So if you notice, I'm wearing my old these are the very first glasses I ever got. I went back into Specsavers yesterday. They did another eye test, and apparently one of my eyes is a funny shape, and they didn't quite say I've got a lazy eye, but they says it's doing something. It's not focusing properly because my eye's bent or something. That's me as technical as I get when it comes to opticians, and they've changed my prescription again. So they want me to get new glasses, and I only got new glasses last week. So there we go. Justine says I've got a big pile of wood chips that I'm not sure what to do with them. See what I use the wood chips for everything. So I use wood chips to grow my potatoes. And if you don't already know, and there used to be a gentleman who used to come in, an elderly gentleman, Graham, his name was, and he took my wood chip method on, and he just supercharged it. He just took it to a complete another level. What I'd normally do is I'd wood chip my beds as I was getting ready to plant, because I'm always running late. And what he started doing was the way I did mine was, if it was a bare bed, I'd put a layer of compost on, and then put the wood chips over the top, and then plant into that. So the potatoes feeding and growing off the soil and off the compost, and the wood chips are breaking down and turning into the rest of the mulch. So what he started doing was he put a big thick layer of manure down, and then the compost down, then the wood chip down on top of that, and he just completely supercharged my wood chip method, and absolutely he got some amazing results. I haven't seen him for a while. I hope everything's okay with Graham. But yeah, absolutely amazing guy. Really impressed what he's done. So you could try that, just if that's a little answer for your question. Gin Palace, how are you doing? Alice in Southwest UK, first watch year last year has needed advice about potatoes. I hope we answered those questions. I mean, there was loads of people from those potato videos asking what do I do with the compost once I've harvested the potatoes, and it's taken me a year, but I finally answered that question on my last video. Zakaria, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. So you share the same name as my son, mashallah. We're doing all right. We've been pretty busy, but we're doing all right. Had everyone out in the garden shifting wood chips and that sort of thing. I'm getting my first greenhouse this weekend. Oh, you're lucky. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Ginger, I've not caught your live stream for a couple of weeks. Hope your ribs are better. They are, actually. I was feeling them earlier to check if I'm still getting any, if it hurts to press, but not really. So they're much better. Thank you very much for asking. Any recommendations for winter gardening? Most of the salad leaves are still good to sow. Definitely get your onion seeds. If you're growing onions from seed, get them sown. What else is there? Garlic. Check out my video on what to grow in October, and that'll give you some really good ideas of what you can be sowing right now. I had my diabetic M. Hey, what does that mean? Tony, what did that mean? diabetic eye exam last week. I've bleeds in my optic. Oh man, okay. So is that diabetic retinopathy or something like that, or something similar to that? My mum's got that, and her diabetes caused her cataracts to go, and she just had one cataract operation a couple of weeks ago, and a few days ago she was saying that everything now just seems yellow. So if she's looking at a white wall, the white wall just looks bright yellow to her. I've taken her to the opticians. I've taken her to the diabetic clinic to try and figure out why everything's just looking yellow for her. So yeah, that's a problem at the minute. But how bad are your eyes? Did courgettes, tomatoes, and French beans this year, but doing more next year. We also grow chilies. What chilies do you grow? Now you've got me. Now you've got me going. Extravagant fragrance. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. That's a great name. I hope you smell as nice as your name does, as your name smells, as your name suggests. Uh, it was, yeah, you did as well. Potatoes in containers. Have you ever grown mushrooms? I'd love to have a go. Get yourself to start off with. Mushroom spawn is absolutely fantastic to use. Really easy mushroom to grow is oyster mushrooms. And the way we did it was I just took some sawdust. I get loads of sawdust for the chicken's bedding. Just took some sawdust, sterilized it. If you watch some of the YouTube videos, they make it really technical and they want to just show off all their skills. Sort of mushroom geeks get like that. I was getting like that when I was, really into mushroom hunting. But I think keep it simple. Oyster mushrooms will grow pretty much on anything. So what I did was I took just some sawdust, poured a couple of bottles of hot water over it, just let it soak for half an hour or so, threw that water away, squeezed it, stuck the mushroom spawn into it. You can get you can get your oyster mushrooms on sort of grain spawn or on dowels. But grain spawn's fantastic if you want to grow oyster mushrooms in sawdust or straw, stuff like that. Stuck it in a plastic bag, those clear plastic bags, Ziploc ones. Left it for a couple of weeks, and within about a week or so, you'll start seeing all this white root sort of structure growing on it. That's the mycelium spreading, and then once the mycelium has sort of taken over everything, and all you can see is mycelium and no sawdust, so it's just like a solid white mass. You'll start to see it ready to pin. Pin is when the mushrooms are starting to pop their little heads out. Then you just poke a few holes in your bag. So cut them like crosses or little slashes, and then you'll see your mushrooms just start growing straight out of there. And yeah, so it might take about 4 weeks, depending on the amount of spawn that you put in. But some people, they charge absolute fortune for mushroom spawn, but it's really simple to make. You can take that mycelium and you can use that to inoculate another batch and get it growing again. So you can keep going and going and going, and then that is an absolute solid brick. It takes ages to break down, actually. They use it. Let me just adjust that camera. It just looked a bit weird. Some people are actually using that sort of mycelium and they're thinking about using it for construction because it's that solid. But I hope that answers your question. Don't let people get over technical with it. It is really easy to do. Now's a good time, actually. If you've got a greenhouse, if a lot of things are dying off, you could actually set up some of these bags and put them in your greenhouse over winter, and they'll go. Myopathy. There you go. Yeah, retinopathy. There you go. Yeah, I'm Am I falling a bit behind in the chat? I think I am. You know me. I like to read as many comments as possible. So if I do fall a little bit behind and I don't get to your comment for about another 10-15 minutes, I do apologize. Absolutely fragrant, mashallah. uh, my son grows ghost chilies, and now he's going for Carolina Reapers. Too much, to be honest, but I may dry them out and use them sparingly. Ghost chilies, Jolokia, they're just from this, so they originate in the Assam region. So where I'm from in Bangladesh, borders Assam, so it's that same region. They're absolutely amazing. Do you know the fragrance of them? I think they're amazing. Ghost peppers, Naga, yeah. I'm a bit worried about my spuds. Half are going brown and half the crop are just amazing green. Have you pulled them all out, or what varieties? They're the same. Are these the potatoes that are in the ground, Derek? And are these the same variety? I've got some Reaper sprouting for next season too. Got chocolate Primortalis. That's not one that I've heard of, but yeah, that might be a name to Google after this stream. Let me take that name, because as you know, I'm a bit of a chili freak, so I do like to have a Google of chilies once. Oh, they look pretty. They do look pretty. Okay, they do look very pretty. I'm not allowed to give random medical advice on the internet, but if your mum is on digoxin for arterial, no, she's not. She's not on any of that. She's not on that. Tony, absolutely no problem. Absolutely no problem at all. Yeah, a couple of years ago, I started getting into, maybe a bit more than a couple of years ago, but I really started getting into what would you call it, mushroom hunting, and because as the winter, as this sort of time comes in, we go for walks a bit more as a family, and I don't like going for walks where it's busy. I like going for walks where no one else is, and you can find some awesome mushrooms. There was one woods we went to, and we finally found the dead man's fingers. So it just looks like a black hand, you know, a rotten black hand coming out the ground. Absolutely, yeah, amazing to see. They're not edible, they're not anything like that, but they're just really interesting to see. My son used one ghost chili in his GCSE cooking practice at home. It was insane. All our eyes were steaming. Definitely not medical advice. Don't send that. Bro, if it's the simple vision, can't imagine technical method. Bro, if this is the simple yeah, you're talking about the mushrooms. Yeah, see, that's simple. See, proper mushroom geeks, they get really technical. I wouldn't consider myself a mushroom geek, yeah, but I am into mushrooms. What can I plant now? For everyone asking what to plant now, if someone wants to just grab my what to plant in October video and just drop it in the link in the chat, that'd be good. And then my potatoes came out so tiny this summer. Growing them in pots, what can get them to get a lot bigger? First of all, good compost, size. You know, the size of the pot is important. I always find the pot shouldn't be too big or too small. It needs to be, like Goldilocks says, just right. So I use about a 30-litre pot. Our friend Tony from Simplified Gardening, he recommended them, and I love them. I think they're absolutely amazing. The perfect size. They're good. Slightly bigger, 40 litres would be good, but 30 litres, you can just get the right amount of compost in. They're not too heavy to handle. So I like those size pots, actually. Yeah. So good compost, plenty of room for them to grow. Loads of, it's amazing how much water that a pot of potatoes wants. So the way we water our potatoes is, um, I'm a big fan of top watering. A lot of people bottom water and that sort of thing, but I'm a big fan of top watering. So I pick my bucket up, put it in the wheelbarrow, pour maybe a bucket of water over the top, and just let it sit in that. So you're getting the top watering and the bottom watering at the same time, and just let it sit for 15-20 minutes. It takes longer. It takes longer to do everything, but if you can do that with every pot once a week, you'll get plenty of water in them. Also, the feed. So a good comfrey solution is really good. I make my own bone meal. I add that. Wood ash is really good for potatoes as well. What else have we got? Yeah, so that, I think, try those things, and you'll get your potatoes going quite well. I love watching chilies grow. We've got some chilies at the moment. They're not Naga type. They're the green chili type. They're probably one of the hottest chilies I've ever tasted. The I made a bit of a cock up this year. So when I sent my plants out to people at the early part of the year, um, I mixed up my Aji lemons and my Danu Morris, and I sent them Danu Morris instead of Aji lemons. And everyone's who's tried these Danu Morris, they're so prolific, but they're so hot. They're extremely, extremely hot, and loads of people are just commenting saying how hot they are, and but they're loving it. Um, Hello, Tom. How are you doing? Thank you very much for coming in. Hello from Devon, where the apples are falling from the trees. My daughter's been doing a bit of that today. So she climbed up our apple tree and she was up the tree shaking all the apples off the top branches. So yeah, she's a right chip off the old block. Fraser, how are you doing, mate? Thank you very much for coming in. Okay. So my tomato plants have those green pests under the leaves. I don't know what to call them. The leaves of brown spots and the stem turn black. Neem oil and dish soap not working. Little green pests. Are you talking about aphids? So soap. How big are your tomato plants? If you've got aphids on them, dry soap will get them. Soap will eventually get through to them. If that's not working, and you've tried neem oil and that's not working, wood ash is fantastic. Wood ash is really good for these kind of pests. Diatomaceous earth is also good if you want to go down the organic route. Tasmin Ali, there's my niece. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. I am. Let's see. Let's see how things go in the next few weeks. But we'll see. One other Bangladeshi brother and I are starting a small farm here in US, but we don't have enough fertilizer or compost. Can we use urine in the regular dirt to kickstart things? Absolutely. Use urine. The thing to do right now is start collecting stuff. Start collecting as many resources as you can and look for free stuff. Autumn's coming. The tree leaves are going to be shedding leaves. People are going to, in America, one of the things that you guys do is quite nicely bag all your leaves up and leave them in front of the driveway for the dustbin people to come and pick up. And they seem to put them all in paper bags as well. So just go and fetch all of them. You haven't got compost, go and grab all of those bags of leaves, dump them on wherever you're going to try and grow on next year. And just leave them, leave a foot thick of leaves where on your beds and let them break down over winter. You're going to have composted soil already ready for you to grow next year. Find some horse riding stables and stuff like that. Go and get as much manure as you can get. If you're near the coast, go and try and collect some seaweed, the stuff that washes up. Don't go digging down and pulling stuff off. What else? Wood chips. Get hold of as many wood chips as you can. Grass clippings. Anyone you can speak to, just try and get as many free things as possible. Don't worry about them composting. Just get them on the beds now. Get them on your beds, chuck them on, and leave them. And if you want to speed things up, or if it gets snowy and you want to keep the snow and stuff off, cover them with some black plastic or something. and that'll just help them break down, and it'll keep them a little bit warmer, let the soil life, the worms and all of those little microorganisms do their magic, and turn it into some really lush growing medium fare. So you don't have to go through a massive expense in buying really expensive compost, but yeah, try that and see where you get to. So there's been a comment deleted, I'm not sure what that was, but yeah, if someone's deleted it, I'm sure it's for good reason. Any tips for cauliflower? The small size, it looks good, but something happens, they start splitting. Did you cover them? Do you know when? Do you know as you well, you need to be feeding your cauliflowers, but as your kernels are, I think they're called kernels, are starting to form, you cover them. That'll stop splitting and strange looking. That'll stop the sort of yellowing. If they're not getting enough water and they're getting old, they will start to split and start to flower as well. So Ross Evans, how are you doing, mate? Thank you very much for coming in. Martin Manan, dude, why would you put your urine in? Urine is fantastic. It's absolutely amazing stuff for you to use. High in nitrogen, absolutely don't waste it. It's really good fertilizer. Yeah, because it works. I was able to revive dying plants last summer with urine. Yeah, there you go. Lots of answers. Where are we gone? Where are you getting your chili seeds from, or where do you recommend? Eileen, I buy a lot of my seeds I buy from what's it called? Premier Seeds. They're on eBay, really cheap, really great value, and a good amount of yeah, really cheap, really great value. What else can I say? Good variety as well. Some of the specialist ones I'll trade people for, or I'll save seeds from the plants that I've got already. And every now and then, if there's a seed that I really want, then I might push the boat out and go to somewhere expensive. But that's a one-off. You know me, I'm a Yorkshireman. I don't like spending money. Need to try them, Graham. Yeah, I've got loads. I'll have loads of seeds, so we can sort some seeds out if you want. Sounds wrong to me. Reminds me of the friars in the UK back in the days when they used to urine and feces end up with disease. Well, urine is absolutely fine. It's sterile when it comes out. It's when it's stored for a long period of time that it can become prone to diseases. So with urine, if you're going to use it pretty much fresh, because it's sterile. From a healthy person, it's sterile. Feces, on the other hand, you need to compost that for at least a year. I'd personally say 2 years, maybe even 3 years. That's any feces from a meat-eating animal. You should sort of compost it for a long period of time before you use it. Absolutely, it's my garden. Yeah. The thing is, Martin, you use cow urine, you use cow feces, you use horse urine, horse feces. The only thing that people get squeamish about, it is a bit of a thing that people get squeamish about their own. Yeah, that's where we're at. Tasman, I'm not sure what you're saying here too, kiddo. So yeah, there's my awesome niece. Yeah, good. Got soaked this afternoon putting in my spring cabbage and pak choy. Where were you planting them? Yeah, you must have got caught in that extremely heavy rain this afternoon. It was crazy the way it came down. My wife went for a job interview, so on her way back, on the way back, the sat nav brought us down this little country lane, and right at the bottom it was a dip. Right, I put the video on TikTok. It must have been like a 20-foot wide dip, and it was just flooded completely. So everyone was sort of crawling their way through it. So I slowed down, waited for a clear coast, and I just went straight through it. I was loving it. Uh, yeah, the child in me got excited. We just slaughtered a goat a few days ago, so the remains were starting a compost pile with it. If you're going to use that sort of thing to start a compost pile in the middle of a big compost pile, great. At the start of a compost pile, if you don't have a lot of stuff around it, it might not be great, because unless it's covered, it'll rot quite quickly and start smelling. If you've got it covered with loads and loads of material, then yeah, no, I won't have any issue with it. The other solution that I'd think of is bury it. Bury it and then cover it with something, so nothing can dig, like some chicken wire or something, so nothing can come and dig in and take it. And then it's really good if you're going to bury it and then plant a tree somewhere around there, or plant something that can benefit from it for a long time. But yeah, I just got rid of a ton of wood chipping. Jose, where are you based? You could bring a ton of wood chipping to my house anytime. So Ross is from South London. I just got a small garden, but I'm slowly expanding what I grow. What have you had success with this year? What this goes out to everyone. So what have you had success with this year, and what won't you grow again? Yeah, let's see if we can get that from everyone else. So chance for me to ask you guys some questions. Mimi Susu joining from Florida. Just had a really bad hurricane. I'm through it. I'm through, so I lost a few plants. You guys, is your house okay, and are you guys safe? DJ or DI, I can't quite make that out. Hi, is this live? Absolutely, it's live. Your comments there, and welcome to the live. Gareth Lewis, there's one of my close friends. Hope you're keeping well, bro. Harvesting my corn and potatoes tomorrow. Going to use your method for sieving the compost and using it as a good seed. So that'll be wicked. Just mix some sharp sand into it, and you could add a bit of vermiculite if you've got some, or some perlite if you've got some. It just keeps it a little bit. When you add sand, it can become quite heavy. The perlite or vermiculite will just keep it a little bit fluffier. But that's pretty much all I use to start all my seeds. But vermiculite and perlite, these kind of things aren't deal breakers for me. If you've got it, then great. If not, then just mix some sharp sand into it and off you go. I have lots of leaves outside my house. Can I run the mower over them and put that on my borders? Absolutely, you can. Yeah. Check these are the things that I love doing. So if you look at some of the beds that I've made, there's a bed that I made not last year, the year before, and pretty much all that was pruned my hedges, threw everything onto the lawn, ran it over the lawnmower, and threw that onto the long grass that I'd mulched over with cardboard, and that was it. I had a ready to plant raised bed. So Derek, they're a blinder at the front and they're ready, but a few meters away at the back are flowering strange, but no biggie. So Belinda's the variety. So if they're the ones if they're both main crop, and they're both sort of one's dying and one's not, then the ones that are dying, I'd start thinking about pulling them up. But right about now, a lot of potato plants will start dying back. One of my wood chip beds, I had two wood chip beds, both planted with Desiree. One was under an arch that had gourds growing over it, so grow as they were growing, they were a little bit behind. And the other bed was fully exposed to all the sun. The one that was exposed to all the sun and all the weather and everything, they were mature and ready to pick mid-September. I can't remember when I put the video out, but around mid-September we pulled all them because the plants had died back. The ones under the arch that were a little bit behind because they were shaded somewhat, they are just about getting ready to harvest. They're starting to, the leaves are still quite green, but they're starting to die a bit back. So they're almost ready to start picking. So that sort of thing can influence it as well. How much sun and how much what the growing conditions are like. Where have we gone? Where are you going? At the moment, I'm not going anywhere. Yeah, at the moment, I'm staying. And we'll keep going with YouTube for a little bit. Yeah. If you didn't watch my last live stream, I put out. Well, I talked about something that I've been going through a while. Yeah. That I just feel a little bit frustrated with YouTube at the minute. But there's so many positive messages that came in on that live stream. Every single one of them got me really emotional. Actually, it got me really emotional after the last live stream, and all those comments as well. They really got me. Gotta go put the kids to bed. Tony, no problem. You go put your kids to bed. That always comes first. Real, family always comes before YouTube. I mean that. Martin, that little farmer, aka Tony, kidnapped the wise old Alton. Hey, what happened? Have a bucket of straw or hay in the shed and apply urine when available. Ian Matthews, there's someone from the wrong side of the Pennines, but glad you came in and said hello. Guys, if you haven't hit that like as well, please hit that like as you're coming in. I'd really like to have a proper compost toilet at some point in the future, not my little suburban garden as it would shock the neighbours, but if I ever have a bigger plot. See, do you know what you're saying there, right? I spoke about it to my wife, and she just put she just put her foot down and said, look, you're weird enough as it is, but that's a level of weirdness I can't handle right now. She don't so that's a level of weirdness that she's not ready for right now, but we'll see. I've just put out in beds there, netted at the minute, and I'm planning on putting some polythene over some to make the mini polytunnels and see how they go. Do you grow chilies in November, and if so, how was the result? Do you still grow some in the spring, or is it the November sowing sufficient? I grow my chilies in December, not in November. So I grow my chilies in December, and I sow everything at that time. I don't sow chilies in spring because spring sown chilies just don't give me a long enough growing season, and my fruits never quite mature with spring sown chilies. So I sow all my chilies in December. We covered it with dirt and then put black plastic. Oh, there you go. Good. I think I'm way behind in the chat as probably normal. So urine is good as long as the animal isn't on any sort of tablet, i.e. penicillin, in my case, blood pressure tablets. So Paul, most tablets are okay. I'm on a concoction of tablets. I use my urine in the garden when no one's looking, obviously. But antibiotics is not good if you're putting it on a compost pile, because antibiotics still come out, active. So they'll kill some of the bacteria in your compost pile. But if you're running sort of a sterile medium that you're growing in, they'll be okay. The only caveat that I'd add about using a medicated person's urine is if you're going near, streams and waterways and that sort of thing. In that case, then I'd probably refrain from it, because your urine gets washed into that and has a bigger impact on the environment. And that's the only thing that I'd say about that. Yeah. Never get any success with beetroot. I had an absolutely atrocious year with beetroot this year. The way I normally sow seeds like that is I sow them directly in the ground. I make a little drill, put a line of compost in, seeds in, cover with compost, forget about it, and they grow. This year I did 3 sowings of beetroot and I had absolute massive failures. So what I'd say is try it again and try it again, and then you'll get it. You will get it. Pears did really well. Cabbages got eaten. First potatoes got blight. Sarah, your pears did better than mine. We had, I think, 2 pears off 2 trees. My pear tree that normally does absolutely brilliant just didn't produce anything this year. First potatoes got blight. That's horrible. With cabbages, try companion planting. I did a video on companion planting. We grow a lot of smelly plants, and that seems to work for us. We protect a lot of our brassicas that way. To be honest, struggle with beetroot this year. I struggle with beetroot. My winter squash have been great this year. Never grown them before, but it's a great summer for them. The heat's done them absolutely amazing. The heat's done them really well. Hopefully we're going to pick all our squash tomorrow. My mum's been on my case. She wanted me to do it 2 weeks ago. I didn't manage to get it done last weekend either, but hopefully tomorrow it'll be winter squash picking day. Because of dry summer now, starting a bed of survivors, lemon and red sorrel, various chives, Welsh onions, wild rocket, orange balm. So Tom, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to start doing a bit of groundwork. I'm not going to be digging massive swales and all of that sort of stuff, but I'm going to be doing a little bit of groundworks to capture water that's landing on concrete. So I want to capture that. So anything that's falling on my drive or on the patio, I want to capture that. And I want to channel any water that runs down the stairs, and I want to channel it into places that I want it to go and soak into the ground. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and capture as much water into the ground, and then with a combination of mulch, hopefully we should be able to sort out some of the growing problems this year. But I'll show you how I'm doing it. Yeah, I'll put some videos up soon. I probably won't grow fennel again as it bolted. I've never grown fennel. The fennel seeds are nice, because after you've eaten, just chewing on some raw fennel seeds is a really good way of. It's a really good breath freshener. It's good for your digestion as well. Sarah's saying, I can't grow cauliflower, but had success with peppers and tomatoes outdoors. North Wales this year surrounded them with black scaffolding netting to slow down the wind, possibly helped, or just great weather. I think chilies have been a fantastic year this year. Really good, really good year. The heat has just done so much for them. But cauliflowers, I think I'm close to you with cauliflowers. Yeah, I think I struggle with them as well. Have I ever had a successful cauliflower? I don't grow loads of big cabbages and big brassicas. I don't grow loads of them anyway, because they take so much space for what you get. From a big cabbage, fair enough, you get a good couple of meals out of it. From a cauliflower, for the time that it takes, sometimes I don't grow the cauliflower because of that reason, and the space it takes, because I can grow quite a few other things in that same amount of space. But that's one of the, I don't grow the big brassicas for that reason, just like broccoli and that sort of thing. I grew loads of purple sprouting one year, and we just didn't use it. The kids don't mind the calabrese, because when you chop them up, you can give them to them and they eat them and pretend they're mini trees. But they don't like the purple sprouting type of stuff. So we grew loads. They got it took 9 months for them to grow and mature and produce all these wonderful harvests, and no one ate them. So they ended up just flowering and feeding the bees. So done chilies for 3-4 years now. Also grown some chives and lettuce late in the season, so didn't get too far. See, I'm gonna get some lettuce sown again now. You still get lettuce, a couple of decent harvests of lettuce, I think. Walaikum assalam. Can I use crushed fish food flakes as feed for my plants and potted trees? If you've got so I had a bucket of fish food that I buy those big buckets from our pond fish, and one of the kids had left the lid off, so it rained and everything got mushy in there. So I added some more water, turned it into a nice liquid, thick, nasty smelling feed, and I just use that to feed my plants. It's really good stuff, really good stuff, because fish food is basically, a lot of it's made from algae, is made from dead fish, it's made from other invertebrates as well, so it's good stuff. It's worth using. Polytunnel been planted with winter saddle, lots of spinach, radicchio, mizuna, spring onions, dwarf road beans coming on, watercress in a sink, kale and cabbages. Oh, Tom, you're way ahead, man. Absolutely awesome. Yes, house was good, and we put up shutters, a lot of cleanup, but so many people lost their homes. Very sad. Oh, that's really, it is really sad when that sort of thing happens. Have the hurricanes been getting worse each year, or do you think they're about the same? Do you overwinter peppers? I overwinter my I overwinter some super hots. We brought a few plants into the house a couple of weeks ago, but I've seen the worst aphid infestation that I've ever seen at this point of the year. Normally we don't get aphids at this time of the year, so everything's going back out tomorrow. Hopefully a little bit of wind and a little bit of rain will wash some of those plants clean before I bring them back in again. But I've never seen aphids as bad at this time of year before. Taking your advice and taking chilies inside. Have you ever grown microgreens? No. I might try sunflowers. I might try microgreens, sunflowers as microgreens, because I've got loads of seeds. Do mung beans count? Bean sprouts, do they count as microgreens? Because if that does, then yes. But generally no, simply because I can't get enough seed to make it worthwhile. My first potatoes got demolished by wireworm. Plant mustard before you plant your potatoes. Mustard's good for, it's a biofumigant, so it's good for stopping wireworm. Also wood ash is good for wood ash is good for wireworm, and slugs as well. So put your if you're digging them traditionally in trenches, then put your potato, dig your trench, put your bloodfish and bone or whatever other fertilizer you'd like to use. I use a bit of manure or composted chicken manure, and then put loads of wood ash everywhere, and then cover it up. Cover it up with a bit of soil, loads of wood ash over the top, and then just cover it all up and let it grow. So yeah, wood ash is quite good. I really like using wood ash in the garden. I need to do a video on how I use it actually. Not a problem at all. A little bit of fennel is tasty in a salad and doesn't need any work. Fennel tea. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Can you cook pak choy like cabbage? We stir fry it. It's not as tough as cabbage, so don't cook it for as long. But yes, you can. In other words, Sarfraz, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Thanks for coming in. Derek, cheers. Derek, absolutely not a problem at all. I think have I just caught up with the chat? Is that a miracle? I think I might. Oh, but loads of people have left, so that's probably what it is, though. I did mustard, chicory, and clover green manure this summer from Cotswold seeds, with everything else failed. Yeah, wood ash is fantastic, absolutely amazing stuff. Green. See, I've had a problem with my green manure this year. It might be because of the seeds quite old. It's a few years old now, but I planted my I sowed my green manure seeds at the end of September, third or fourth week of September. I was expecting them to have come up by now, and I'm seeing absolutely no signs of it. So if they're not up in the next couple of weeks, I might take some of that wood chip that I've got and just wood chip everything, like I used to do. But I've got myself into a bit of a dilemma, because the wood chip's dumped on my drive. It's blocking my drive off. I've finally got a tow bar on my car, so I wanted to go and get some manure, but I've got this massive wood chip pile on my driveway, and I can't get my trailer out to go get the manure. So it's either I shift those wood chips and stick them on the beds, but then go and get the manure, I can't get them on the beds because I've just mulched them with wood chips. So I've caused myself a bit of a problem. It's just when I don't think things through, I always end up shooting myself in the foot. There you go. So I'll try the wood ash, mate. Yeah, give it a try. If you've got some mustard seeds, get some mustard seeds in as a cover crop. Yeah. See, I was planning on going to the stables this morning, and then my wife said I need to take her to the job interview, and then someone rang me for work, and then I had to. I went to the no, my well. Let's start again from the beginning. My plan was I'll go to the opticians on the way back, go to the stables, come home, right? So I got to the opticians. The optician said one of the other opticians hasn't turned up. They're called a sickie, so I'm gonna be, it's gonna take a lot longer than I expected. So I didn't get home from there till probably 10:30, 11:15. So I missed my chance of going to the stables. Then my wife said that I need to take her to a job interview. So I took her, got back, the wood chips arrived. Yeah, there we go. Or someone might have rang me for work in the middle. Wood chip store, new project. So do you compost around plants or let areas rest? Do I compost around plants? Do you mean, do I mulch with compost? I mulch all the way. I don't mulch with compost. I don't like mulching with compost unless it's sort of like semi-broken down, quite rough compost. If it's that, then I'll mulch with it. But finished compost, I'll never mulch with that. I never get notifications when you go live. I'm normally live every Friday around 8 o'clock. A lot of people say they don't get notifications. A lot of notifications go out way after the live's finished. Yeah. Chickens love the green mustard and chicory. I actually had a problem with peas this year. This year, 1 year old. Not cruel. My wife said you're plant you can plant some peas now, overwinter them in a gutter in the greenhouse, and then in spring plant them out. Peas are really hardy. I was going to say peas are really hardy, but peas are really hardy. I always start mine in gutters or in pots or in something, and then plant them out later. I find whenever I plant them direct into the ground, they always struggle. I'll nip over after work tomorrow and we can. Look, man, you focus on what you've got to do for yourself at the moment. I'm shifting wood chips. I've got to figure out where to put them. I'll send you a link to what I've done when I edit this video, and then you can see what I'm up to. You're welcome to come around, but don't be coming around to shift wood chips, especially not when you're not well. Yeah. Good evening. Just finished watching Gardener's World. I wish you could choose a different night for your live. See, this is the we used to do them on the Saturday, but because Saturday weekends are the only 2 days that I have off, and if we're in the middle of something and then I have to break off and come into live stream, it just causes a problem for the kids, and they're growing up too fast. I need a bit of time with them, so that's why I moved it to Friday. And every other night I'm teaching, so Friday's it's the only night that I can really do. I'm planting my garlic tomorrow, but my spade snapped. Has anyone tried green manure? Check out my videos on green manure. I love it, absolutely love it. I really recommend doing it. Garlic, you could, if you've got, this is a tool that I think everyone should get, a cultivator. You know, they're like a three-pronged claw. And instead of digging, right, just go to one end of where you want to plant, run your cultivator down in a straight line, and then you've got yourself a perfectly dug, if you're a digger, or if you're a semi sort of digger, no digger type of thingy. Yeah, I'm a no digger, but I'm a thingy, if that's the technical word, right? So just run your cultivator across like that, and you've got yourself a perfectly dug little trench. Add some compost into there, and then just plant and forget digging everything else. That's basically what I do. Do you use a fence or twigs for your peas? I use twigs. So normally I use privet prunings, branches that I've pulled off my buddleia. Buddleia is really good for it, actually, because within a season or two it's broken down enough and it's turning, it's feeding the soil again. Where have we gone? What about pumpkins? I was thinking of growing some for next year. When to start? Pumpkins, start them in sort of late spring. Yeah, you get plenty grown. Never been well, mate. If you want a hand, the amount of work you've told me you've got to do, focus on that for now. I don't. Yeah, but you're welcome to come over and have a cuppa. I'm not. I don't call people over to work for me. You will, yeah. If you want to bring the kids at some point, bring them over, have a cuppa, and they can have a little bit of a play. Gives a nice soil structure, but you need to dig early spring. Don't let it get established. See, Tom. See with I don't know if you've seen some of the ways that I do green manure. I don't dig the green manure in. I just, depending on how I've got it and what plants I've got it around, I can either chop and drop or I'll mulch it out, and that includes winterite and stuff like that. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. You're right. You're right. You're right. Have you used it before? Used a summer one and winter one this year. See, I use a lot of cover crops. I love cover crops. Really recommend it. And we're past the hour mark. We're past 9 o'clock. Actually, I don't know. The kids are probably doing something downstairs and not noticed that I'm missing. But guys, on that note, I'm going to call it a night here. There'll be a harvest video coming out on Sunday. Yeah, Sunday's my video day, so there'll be a harvest video coming out on Sunday, and yeah, we'll take it. We'll play it by ear for now. And thanks for all the kind messages. Thanks for all the really lovely support. there's been yeah, some of the stuff that you've said really got me going. Yeah, it really wound me up. I appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. So on that note, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.